This is the easiest way to create a fluid triangulated mesh inspired by this design. Welcome to day 14 of 30 scripts in 30 days. Before we start, I would like to say thank you for everyone who is supporting my channel. And if you are interested to have any file from this series, you will find it on my Patreon shop and the link in the description. Let's start. If you look closely to this shape, I think somehow you can start from 3 spheres somehow, and then we can deform them a little bit in sub D. So right now I'm going to start from here and then 0, and maybe something like not very much like this, and then I'm going to delete this part, and I'm going to select all of this and just like select all of them and Gumber relocate, and then like 0, so it will be something like this. And I'm not sure about those, so for now I'm going to scale them down just in case. And right now I want to copy this from I want to copy from this point to this point, so I'm going to join those two. I'm going to join them smoothly, so join, make sure smooth, so it will probably be something like this maybe. And then I want to do something similar, so I'm going to reflect this one from here to here, and I'm going to keep this side, and then I'm going to remove the reflection, and let's see what we have. So if you look back to this, I think we have like some kind of spheres in the middle, and right now I'm not interested in those, so I'm going to push them a little bit here, and maybe those two I'm going to just move them a little bit back to here. It's not about the shape itself that I'm interested to create, because you can deform this shape however you want, or you can create your own concept of this, but I'm just trying to create a similar uh, approach or a similar form, so we can apply the same pattern. But this pattern should work on any kind of form, that like basically any fluid form basically that we are going to create or you are going to create. I think in this case I'm just going to draw something. I'm going to insert points, so I'm going to first of all I'm going to click and then click on the sub D, and then click from here to here. Since it's flat, it will draw something, and then I'm going to do the same for this one, so it's something like this. And I'm going to do this also for this side, so it's something like this. And I think in this case, if we try to select like these 4, and then these 2, and then these 4, and then these 2, and then these 4, and maybe create some kind of movement. I think the distances around are too much, so I might think to select something like this. Actually, let's try to maybe collapse those. So let's see if we stitch those, and then stitch those, and probably stitch those, and stitch those. I think in this case, maybe we can just select like the whole thing, but without ruining anything. Let's see. I will try to create a crease and see how it looks. So right now the difference between this kind of fluidity and this kind of like very not really good fluidity is not as good as I hoped. So for now I'm going to like collapse those also. So I'm going to stitch those and stitch those and stitch those and stitch those. So something like this. So I should have some kind of like that, which is kind of good. If you want, you can remove this curve or not. For now, I think it will be good. And then I'm going to move this some number that I understand. So for now, I'm going to move it 20 meters. And then I'm going to select those and try to select something like this. And I should have something like that. And I'm going to create something proportional. Probably in the middle, I think. Probably something like this. And then I'm going to lower this to 20, and maybe in this case I'm going to select this and add a soft crease, not like a very sharp crease, so something like that. and in this case I have something similar a little bit, but after that maybe I should either lift this up in this direction, so I should have like some kind of something like that, or I should slide it. So it depends. I think it's proportional. So if I slide it, it will create like still very good like entrance for your form. Or if you want, you can just select something like this and move it up. But you have to be careful, because if you select, let's go back a little bit, if you select this and then selected, probably ignored 2 and then selected 1, then you will have this kind of point, and this point is not going to be structurally good, because it's in sub D mode it will go up. So you need at least 3. So if I selected this, for example, I have to skip 3 and then go to the 4th. So when I lift this, you can see that you will have some kind of connection in this to the ground, and then maybe you can just either push this away, so you'll have some kind of interesting movement in here, or if you don't want to do that, right now it's up to you. So you can just create something interesting with your own design. So probably something like this and something like that, and move it however you want. And then I'm going to select all of these in the middle, and I'm going to create an inset. So I'm going to create something like an inset. I think right now let's try 1. 1 is too tiny, so let's try 5, maybe 10. Actually 10 makes sense. Let's try 10 again. 10. And then I'm going to lift this up. Okay, and once I lift it up, I want to remove all of these creases. So I should have something like this. And maybe in this case, I might think to add a soft crease in here, not like a hard crease, or maybe even remove it. It depends. I think in this case, removing it is a good thing. Right now, it's kind of similar to what we have in here, but I think in this case, you might consider like sliding this a little bit higher. So it will be something like this, or even flatten those two. So gumbo relocate and then flatten those. So you will have something like this, and the more you add, the more it will look very interesting. I believe right now we can just try to figure out this part, because I think it kind of looks separated a little bit, or maybe like it might have some kind of fluidity or something. So I might just select all of these in the top, and yeah, something like this, and probably gumbo relocate, and then I'm going to flatten them again once, and then I'm going to see if I can just extrude this a little bit and see what it looks like. Actually, it doesn't look good, probably. Maybe in this case, I'm going to just select those points, because I have those 3 interesting points, and then I'm going to like do something like this. I think this is very close to the original shape in here, which it's kind of having this kind of connection between those domes or those spheres. Maybe in this case we can, if we want to highlight them, we can just like slide this a little bit closer, so they will be like very defined or highlighted. Probably something like this, and then I'm going to copy this somewhere here and do something like that. Maybe I'm going to shrink it or scale it. I feel like this one needs to be shrinked a little bit. Depends on the design, or it depends on the what you want to create with something like this. Let me just take a look. I think in this case maybe we can just lower. Let's lower all of this and come relocate and somewhere in here, and then lower all of them. And probably because I want to take a picture from this angle, so I want to have some kind of interesting movement in here, and probably another one somewhere here, so something like this. So I should probably have something like that, and I'm going to maybe copy it somewhere here and rotate it, or make it something like this. So probably like I should have like something like that in the middle. It looks interesting. Maybe in this case, I will just, for the sake of this, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to increase the size of this one a little bit, just like that, and then, yeah, try to adjust it somewhere in here. So probably something like this. And after that, I'm going to jump into Grasshopper. Once I satisfied with the model itself or with the design, I'm going to jump into Grasshopper, and then I'm going to add all of these curves. So I'm going to say set multiple curves or set multiple periods, which are all of these. And I'm going to hide those for a second. And then I'm going to try remesh. But there are multiple tricks for try remesh. The first thing that we want to understand is that because this one is a little bit bigger, the size in the triangles are different. Let me just show you. Let's increase this drastically a little bit like this. And let's see what it looks like. So let's set multiple again, and let's select all of them and hide. So right now you can notice the difference in the scale between all of them, which is relevant to the size of the thing. It's kind of creating a target amount of faces. But right now I want to control the length itself, and something like this, I think it might be a little bit too big to control. So let's say 15 meters. I know that's 15 like very huge, but let's start from that. And right now I'm going to reduce it to 10 probably. So right now this means that my shapes are too big for the scale. Those were tests. Let me just delete them, ignore them. So I'm going to do some undos, something like this, and then I'm going to scale all of it, scale to D from here. Actually, I'm going to scale because, yeah, something, all of these three, and from here to here, and then just shrink them to something realistic. So this grid is 200 by 200. So yeah, something like this might make sense. And something like this makes sense because right now you can see that the grid is like 10 by 10, so you lost all the definition in here, and also 10 by 10 is a lot. So right now I'm going to change this, and the minimum is going to be 1, but the maximum is going to be 10. I don't want it to be 10, and probably I will adjust enough rounding digits. So maybe something like this, and then I'm going to lower this down, but be careful how much you lower it down, because yes, you want to have definitions showing for your design, but you don't want like too much. So for example, the more I lower, the more I will get like very dense mesh, which is not a good thing, because your structure will not be as dense as this unless you want it to. It depends on your own design, but I think if for this design it's like very very tiny, so maybe right now I'll try 2. I think for this design 2 probably makes sense, maybe 2.5. Let's try that. Yeah, 2.5. I see all the features, but I did not lose anything. A little, I think I didn't lose anything. Maybe in some areas it's not perfect mesh. If you can see it in here, it's not the best. So either I can try to reduce this to lower number, or I can add a little bit of features. So right now, if I go to here and add an edge B-rep to this, and I'm going to graph this just in case. So right now every mesh on its own, and I'm going to add all of these interior edges as features. And right now you can see that once I added those interior edges, which are those, you can see that it started to respect them and add all the meshes in between them. So it's kind of flattened some of the uh, meshes a little bit. And I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Maybe if you want to add it in your design, it might be a good idea in some designs, but I'm not sure if it will be a good idea in all the designs. So if you want, you can just keep them like this, or if you don't, then delete those curves and then keep everything a little bit like this. And in this case I will say 2, maybe to like refine everything a little bit more. So I should have something like this, which is good. After that, I want to create a frame. I think in this case, I'm going to go to a mesh, something like this, and grab a frame in here, frame 0, and then I'm going to connect it to the target. And after that, I should have like all of these triangles. And if I can, if this number right now is 0.5, so it's like in the middle. So if I say 0.25, but I will connect this to here, so it's smaller. If I go to 1, it will be like closed, and if I go to 0, it will be like fully open. So try to find the perfect ratio for this and look at the overall shape. So probably in this case, maybe zero point 0.1 or like something smaller like this, probably. And I think in this case, this number is good. After that, I'm going to simply offset this mesh. And once before I do that, I need to figure out this number, because this number is 1, so I'm going to offset 1 in one direction, which is not a good deal. Probably I'm going to say 0.25, and then after that I'm going to say negative on the other side. So right now I'm going to say negative for this, and then I'm going to apply to this, and then I'm going to grab the mesh in here and add it to this one. And let's wait a little bit and see what we have done. And right now you can see that it's taking a little bit of time to process, and this is important because if you increase the meshes more than that, yes, you will get a defined topology, but every step after that is going to be like it will take a lot of time, and also it's going to be unnecessary heavy work for your computer. So right now you can just bake this and say yes, okay, and I'm going to hide all of this and just bake this and yes and okay. And after that, I'm going to probably hide everything in here, and then I'm going to go into here, and then I'm going to probably add some basic materials. So for now, I'm going to select those inside meshes, and I'm going to go to here and create probably a plastic. And I'm using plastic because I can control the transparency on it, so it will be easier. You can just change it to whatever you want. And right now I want to have some kind of bluish material, but I want it to not like crazy bluish, so it's kind of between gray and blue, something like this. And for those, maybe I should select, I'm going to create a metallic probably, and then I'm going to make it not like as rough or as something like this, probably not so rough but not so smooth. Maybe in this case we can just try to enable the sun, and probably in this case I prefer to have this 0.5 and this 0.5, and the sun I prefer the manual control, and then we can just control where we are looking. So maybe something like this to see the topology and to see what we have done for today. And right now this is the final results. Hopefully this is really helpful for you, and it will help you create a similar approach for your own design. And thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.